Something a lot of copywriters get stuck on is choosing their niche. They know that they should choose a niche, but they don't want to box themselves in, number one. And number two, they want to choose something that is profitable and that's viable. So that's what I want to do today, is actually show you step by step how to determine whether a niche is profitable or not, whether it's legit, and whether you should go through with it. I have a process that I'm going to break down, but I also want to show you what the research process looks like, because someone reached out to me the other day who's on my newsletter and receives my free weekly copywriting tips and said, hey, I have this niche idea, but I don't know if I should go through with it. And what's interesting is that her niche is something that I had no experience in whatsoever, which is parenting. I'm not a parent and I don't write in that niche. So I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to go in with a beginner's mind and actually research a niche and check for its viability. I think for me personally, my niche was technology, is technology. So it was easy for me to determine whether or not that was a viable niche. Whereas if you're not interested in technology, you might not have such an easy run determining whether your niche is profitable or viable. So I'm going to take you now step by step through the whole research process. And I have this beginner's mind because, like I said, I'm not experienced with parenting. So let's go here. I made this worksheet. This is an example of what people will get in my course, these worksheets on how to do each step of everything. And this is about choosing your niche. So the first question is, what experiences do I have in this industry? What is my knowledge and what is my background on this topic? For me, like I said before, because I was in software sales, this was a bit easier for me because I knew what my background was. But for you, maybe you don't have a professional background in the niche that you're going to choose. But let's take something like parenting, for example. It would be very compelling for a hiring manager to hear your personal story with parenting and why you're interested in this niche. Maybe you have an autistic child and you have, really true life experience on what it is like to raise an autistic child and what the challenges are. Maybe you even started your own blog and documented your own journey. And you can really use that to convey your passion to a hiring manager when you're reaching out to copywriting clients. So think about what your specific background, your experience, what is your knowledge of this industry, because that's what you're going to be using to pitch yourself, especially when you're new and you don't have copywriting experience like I didn't. So number two, can I find articles or interviews online talking about my niche and whether or not it's profitable? So this is where the Google search comes in, right? So something that I brought up in this niche was this article from The Right Life talking about blogs and magazines that pay freelance writers. So this is my first indication that this is a viable niche because there's people writing articles about these jobs, okay? So they actually list out specific parenting blogs. Validation, check mark right there. There's also this one by One More Cup of Coffee, Get Paid to Write About Parenting, one of the most popular niches out there. You want to see articles like this to confirm that, okay, yes, there is a market for the niche that I want to go into and it is in demand and other people are talking about this. So number three, what are 3 companies or organizations that regularly put out blog content that's related to my niche? So this is where you want to talk about or think about brands that are publishing content in your space. So I don't know about parenting, but one thing I did know, or one thing that came to my mind, was Jessica Alba's brand, The Honest brand. So they create baby wipes and baby products and household cleaning products that are all natural. And I just am very familiar with her inspiration for starting the brand. So immediately I thought, let me just Google The Honest brand and go to their Crunchbase profile. Crunchbase is a free website where you can really research any company, see how much they make. It's a very in-depth view into a company's financials, maybe how much rounds of funding they raised. So if you go to the Honest Company's Crunchbase page, one of the first things that stood out to me was the industry that they're in. And you want to go to websites like this and say, okay, I know of Honest brand, but what similar companies are like Honest Brand? What industries fall into that niche, so I can see if there's other industries out there that I can target as my potential clients. And I thought to myself, okay, The Honest Company is a consumer goods and packaging industry, right? That's like the overall niche. So I'm in the technology niche. This is a consumer packaged goods product. So I just Googled CPG, and you can see that CPG stands for consumer packaged goods, and you can see all of these CPG brands and these articles talking about how they're successfully marketing to moms. You have the stuff like Huggies and Target. I mean, that's really big. So I wanted to find something that was a little less known. So I looked at Ella's Kitchen. And I went to this website, Ella's Kitchen. I don't know really what they do. It's definitely geared towards moms. And I just wanted to look at their content. What are they putting out, right? So something I noticed on their site is that other than what they're selling, they're putting out resources for parents, free resources. So if I go to their weaning section, I mean, obviously they're going to have somebody publishing their recipes, but who knows? You're probably not a recipe writer or cookbook writer. We're copywriters, and we write free content so that these marketing companies can, show up in Google search results and rank and have SEO power. So let's look at some of their content. Somebody had to write these resources, right? I mean, they're creating videos. They are producing free content to try to capture their audience, and you could be the person who is writing that free content. There's also, in my search, I found this agency, experienced content writing partner for the parenting market. So let me go back to the checklist. Can I find at least 3 job postings hiring copywriters for this niche? So the fact that I found an agency that specifically focuses on marketing for the parenting niche was a really strong indication that people are hiring for that. And not only that, if you Google parenting copywriter jobs, there was a bunch of freelance writer jobs geared towards, copywriters, freelancers, specifically for this niche. So that was like another validation checkpoint. One of the last points is, can I see that other copywriters are in this niche? And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't want more competition. If there's a lot of copywriters in my niche, isn't that going to affect me badly? Isn't that going to lower my chances of getting a job and getting clients? The opposite is true, and that's why I get frustrated when people give up on copywriting or hear that it is too saturated, because the more people are doing it, or the more copywriters there are, that actually proves the viability of the niche. It's a business principle that you want to enter existing markets. If you are going to create a market from scratch, it is an uphill battle. It is something that's going to cost a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources. It's going to be an uphill battle. So smaller businesses, and especially freelancers, understand the power of entering existing markets. And if a market is flooded or saturated, please don't let that deter you. So something that I found, which is really interesting, was when I was searching for parenting copywriters, was this woman, morecopy.co. Right up here, it says her name's Randy Moore, and she's branding herself as a positive parenting copywriter. I didn't know if she was necessarily a company or a freelance copywriter, so I went right to her About section, and there she is. I am a freelance positive parenting copywriter, mother of 2 wonderful kids, and I have this bachelor's degree in psychology. I love helping parents break free from old antiquated ideas and spread the message of positive parenting. And there's other women like her. There's other writers like her that I found in a Google search. So again, that checks the viability box, right? I mean, other people are doing this. You can be doing this too. This is an in-demand niche. She's probably making a full-time living doing this, and you can too. The last thing I want you to consider is current events, because a lot of people have been reaching out to me recently and say, like, I was in the travel niche, and my background is in travel, and I love to travel. I don't know whether or not to advise people on whether or not travel is a great idea to choose as your niche right now. On the one hand, obviously 2020 has completely disrupted the travel industry. On the other hand, is travel really going away? Did airlines ever stop running despite going bankrupt? If you really want to have a disrupted industry such as restaurants, such as gyms, such as travel, such as events, all of these niches that were really negatively impacted by the pandemic in 2020, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying consider how that will impact your ability to get those jobs. There can be arguments made that certain restaurants, certain hotels, certain airlines might be investing even more into their marketing budget if they're struggling, but that's for you to decide. So in general, 2020 aside, think about the current political, global, or economic events that are impacting the world at this moment that have an impact on your niche. So for me with copywriting, in the technology niche, I took into account the fact that software is really the way of the world. There are so many new companies that are adopting this model called software as a service. That's what SaaS stands for. So when you can pick up on trends, whether it's AI, machine learning, whether it's teleconferencing with the Zoom calls and all of the video conferencing technologies, technology aside, how are things changing in the world? What political issues are happening right now? I mean, I know there's a huge uptick. What I see are people hiring copywriters that are talking about political issues, racial issues. So the world is constantly changing and new demands are needed as these changes happen, and you need to keep your ear to the ground and you need to be aware of what's going on when you're choosing your niche. So I hope that helps. This is kind of the behind the scenes research process of how I would check for a niche's viability. And I hope that this can help you choose your niche, because I don't want you to let it hold you back from applying for these freelance copywriting jobs and putting yourself out there as a freelance copywriter. If you want to, let's say you do choose your niche and you're ready to start cold pitching clients on LinkedIn to build your freelance copywriting business the same way I did, you might be wondering, what do I say in these cold pitches? Like, I know what companies I want to reach out to. I might even know how to go online and find the people to pitch, but what do I say? Well, I've created free templates for you. You can find them at paidcopywriter.com. Right in the top bar, it'll say free cold pitch templates. And I actually share screenshots of the exact messages, literally screenshots of my messages that I sent to get clients. Also, because I take on content strategy roles and I hire writers, I show you examples of great messages that were sent to me that encouraged me, or that basically sealed the deal for me to hire people as copywriters. So I want to share all of that behind the scenes stuff with you so that you feel competent. So let me know if you need help with your niche. I am so more than happy to help you, and best of luck.